Welcome to our Thursday night segment, Voice of the People. And we're going to hear a voice that's very prominent in the community in just a minute. But we are finalizing, this is the last, we're going to say, show of Women History Month. But as you said, Doc V, last night, that women history continues to go on. Every day there's a day to make history, and there's a lot of people that can be recognized throughout history daily for their contribution, be it women, be it during Black History Month, during all of that. But we have someone here in our midst that is working in our community, making history in our community. Yes. And we're going to introduce her, and then we're going to let her talk about what she's doing. And we're going to say hello to our guest this evening, Miss Clydia Early. How are you, ma'am?
Hey, I am doing well. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank
welcome,
you guys.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We're glad you're here. Now, I'm a little behind, but I want to understand. St. Patrick's Day was March 17th, as I remember. But I hear your organization or your theme was the green hair revolution.
No.
So I don't want to.
Oh, Veronica's been telling my business. Doc V has been saying.
I don't want to confuse it with St. Patrick's Day, but give us a little history of what that is.
Not connected at all.
Not connected at all. Green Hair Revolution started because, well, let me say this. Most of the things that I do start because there's something happening in my life or happening in my family's life. And so I've always said that you have to be the change you want to see.
Amen.
So when I want to see something different, I have to do it if no one else is doing it.
I feel you there.
And
yes.
For real, that's what Green Hair Revolution was. And it started back in, I would say, about 2010.
Yes.
And we, at that time, women, many women, especially women of color, we were going through things with our hair. Mm-hmm. And during that time, when I say with our hair, what I mean is during the 60s, our hair, it was about who we were, revolution, and, taking back our own identity. When we talk about our hair in the 2000s, it's about health. Mm-hmm. And it's about what we've been putting on our head. And what we need to understand is that what goes on our head goes into our whole body. Nothing's separate. Our scalp isn't separate from our face.
Amen.
Okay. It's all connected. And so now we've learned that things that we've been using for years have been killing us. Mm-hmm. Perms that we've been putting on our heads, women that have been putting the perms in our heads, all those things that have been going on. And so out of that came Green Hair Revolution. And so it was about green hair, natural hair.
Yes.
And so my family everyone in my family at that time, and we still do, all had natural hair. I had locks. My sister had locks. And they were all looking online about what was happening with hair and what was going on. And so we decided to create a meetup group. And that meetup group was just so we could come together and start talking about what we were doing and how it was affecting us in products and things that we were using. But little did we know that what that really was about was wellness from head to toe.
Oh, wow. That sounds good. And, it's funny you say that because now you can watch TV. And I don't know if many of y'all watch TV late at night. Now it's, have you known anybody that had fibroids and things like that? Was it caused by the use of chemicals in your chemical relaxers? So, yes, obviously that is something that has been plaguing or troubling the Black women's community for a long time. I can say men too, because there was a time men were getting their hair done and things like that because of Jerry curl. I think everybody at one point in time had a Jerry curl.
That's right. That's right.
So I think men might have suffered from that too.
Yes, but before we leave that too soon, I just want to say I attended those events that was at the museum, and they were fabulous. I mean, I was a part of them as well, but I want to know, like, the storm board. Take me to the room where you got the vision, but you started thinking it out loud, and then it manifested because it was a major. They just been some great events.
And what Veronica is talking about, an event that we had at the museum called the Art of Hair.
Yes.
Okay, and so the Art of Hair, that was love, manifestation, and light, and spiritual.
Wow.
We know where things come from. And the Fort Wayne Museum of Art had been talking about, my sister had been working with them on some kind of project, but they had been talking about at that time that they were going to bring this young man here named Michael July, and he had created this book called The Book of Afros. And so they I don't know how they found him, but during that time we were out one day getting ready to have coffee, and I seen Charles Shepard, who runs the Museum of Art, and I said to my sister Sherry, I was like, there he is, go talk to him right now. And she was like, and I was like, the art of hair, the art of hair.
Yes.
Because what we were talking about was twofold. Bringing women of color to the museum so that we could see that we are represented
Yes,
there.
yes, yes.
But also bringing us there for our health and our wellness. You
Yes.
understand me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So to see Michael July's pictures, and they were all afros of minorities and different people, is fortifying for you to know that you exist in a museum and that they show you your pictures. And so that also was a way to help the museum and let it be understood that the museum was a safe place for us as minority women to come. And so we did the art of hair, and we brought, so Michael July was here. They had a big afro on the side of the
That's what
Museum
I
of
was
Art.
asking
Okay,
about. I saw that.
never have they ever, I think, had that. And when I drove past it and I saw it hanging up there, because they asked us, what should we do? What should we do? Because the whole thing was what we originally only intended to do was to do some kind of welcoming for Michael July. But you already know, when you're supposed to, when you get a chance, opportunity to shine,
You do it.
sparkle,
Yes, you
That's
do
right.
Blow it up.
Blow it up.
That's right.
yes, be a firecracker, because you may never get another opportunity.
Right, right. Do it
So
while
that's
you can.
what we did.
When and I was going to bring that up because I saw where you and your sister were super excited, and it wasn't just like a small; it was a massive part in the building, and it was a beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful display, which is really in the community an accomplishment, in itself. So I thought that was awesome. But you bring up the word opportunity. So both you and it's your sister, correct?
Yes, it is my
So
sister.
I saw that, this isn't the only thing that you've done. You've done many things. The Caribbean restaurant
Yes.
in Fort Wayne. And that was like the first.
Wow, you have
encyclopedia.
done your
I do.
history. I love you. You have done some work.
The
Yeah, we had
omelets?
we had a restaurant called the White House
Yep.
that did Caribbean food before Caribbean food was popular here, and the
That's
only
what it-
reason we closed it was because Sherry wanted to go back to school and finish college, and people had given her money and everything, and we gave all the money back. And you are right. The egg shop.
Yeah, the egg shop. Well, and my question really is something that stuck out to me. I think it was your sister who said we call ourselves serial entrepreneurs. And I was like, what does that mean? So I went on to look, and I read your mother's story. So your mother,
So you read the Glow story?
I read about your mother going
Oh,
to school
wow.
until 4th grade,
Wow.
right?
Yes.
And you talked about like what an inspiration she was, because she had businesses too.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it. Is that where you and your sister got your fight?
You guys are good. You did your homework, girl. I appreciate that. Let me say, so my sister and I, my mother, who did everything, I feel like, she always pushed us to do different businesses. When Sherry was like 15, she had a soda shop. It was called Sherry's Soda Shop. She had us doing businesses after business after business. It was so funny. Even when I was in, you're going to laugh at this, but when I was in middle school, just getting ready to go to 9th grade, my mother made me sell Avon in the neighborhood.
Really?
And you know those little cases?
Yes,
With
yeah.
the embroidery on them?
Yeah.
I have it today, okay?
But Avon was a business for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It was a business for me. And she had me going to people's doors knocking, and I was like, I can't go to those people's doors. And she had me going, and I would go to their doors, and I got to know people, and I would leave, like, if I could leave the Avon book in the mailbox, I was good,
Yeah.
okay?
Put it in there, run.
I was excited to get a real job because going up and meeting people was a little bit hard, but I did it, and I want to think that that was kind of the start of me getting started.
Yeah.
And upon leaving and going to school at San Jose State and being swayed to come back home and work with my mom, I was on the road to entrepreneur. And when I say entrepreneur, her being with only a fourth grade education and owning property and
That's
owning
crazy.
businesses and teaching us to do that. And we didn't even know she only had a fourth grade education until we were grown-ups. And that she couldn't really, do all the reading and all the writing, and she still ran businesses. And so when my mom passed away, me and Sherry had still ran businesses. But when my mom passed away in 2015, we each got a tattoo that said fearless. And that tattoo was meaning that we were gonna, jump. And that just was, and so I am a serial entrepreneur. And what that means is that I stick my fingers into a whole lot of different things and a lot of different businesses. And I really do try to focus on businesses that I think that I can build or that can produce passive income for me, maybe leave a legacy for
Right.
my
Yeah.
family. Help us to move forward. My sister and I do something called Noir Developers, LLC, and we develop properties. People don't really know, but we've done like a couple of houses. We've flipped maybe 2 houses. We have 3 Airbnbs, and we are getting ready to do another property where we're going to build from the ground up. Hopefully a fourplex, something in that area, in the Waynedale area. And, then I do a few other things on the side, BIPOCA Incubator and Gallery, a little bit of green hair. Green hair kind of has its own life now because we have T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, caps, and they're being sold at different places, like in Chicago, Illinois, Atlanta, those kind of places.
Oh, look at you.
And,
please.
and I know you probably got a question.
But go ahead,
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted her to talk a little bit about the event that
That's where I was going.
just
So we
happened
great minds
Sunday.
think alike.
Yes, because that took you to a different place. So let's talk
As
about
I said before, I do things that affect my life. And have had something happening with me, and like I said, you have to be the change you want to see.
Right.
And so Sunday for Women's History Month, we did something called the Sacred Sisters Healing Circle,
Okay.
and it was for all women. And it was for women to have an opportunity to come and have a chance to heal, breathe, and transform. And what I mean is a chance to talk together, a chance to ask questions, a chance to hear information, a chance just to spend time and just, bring your girls and just spend some time. And it was a great event. It was about wellness in all ways, spiritual, physical, mental wellness, and we had a great panel. We had a Dr. Ashley Scott.
Yeah, I was reading that. You had
Yes.
an OBGYN, and I think the title of that was Things That You Don't Know.
Things that your mama didn't know to tell you.
Know to tell you.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of things happening with us and women of all races. But in particular, minority women and wellness in our bodies. And, like we just talked about in your hair,
Right.
fibroids, things that are happening in your body from other things happening. And from that, there are things that are happening and with us in our bodies that our mother never experienced
Right.
or didn't even know how to talk to us about if she did experience it.
Right.
And so to have someone there where you can be honest and feel safe enough to ask any questions, and I'm going to say this real, and I'm real. Everything from menstrual cycles to fibroids to, whatever you needed to talk about as a woman with your OBGYN. And we were all encouraged to be honest and to ask for what we needed.
Yeah. With that, and I know Dr. V has a question, but we were talking, and it has to go with just our community as a health, but as Black women, especially with health, is that one is they go to the doctor more, but they get the least information.
Veronica and I were just talking, and in my understanding is across all wealth levels, our mortality rate for children and having babies and living and even walking out, we're dying and the babies are dying. And that don't mean it doesn't matter what hospital you go to, it doesn't matter what amount of money you have. And also across all levels, we're having fibroids, uterine cancer, all those different endometriosis, all those different things happening, and it's younger and younger. In your 30s, in your 20s, you're having to have your whole insides removed, and we don't know why.
Right.
And so this event was an opportunity for us to ask those questions. I'm not sure that the doctor knows all the answers, but we can get started on a track.
You got to get it started.
Yes.
And I love you. I love when, obviously I love your mind because you're always thinking of ways to help other people. You are always thinking of other people. And then you call this the journey to wellness.
Yes.
And so that's beautiful because I believe it's going to take more than one event.
It's going to take more than one event. And there was one thing that I also was saying is that this wellness piece is not necessarily my lane. When I say my lane, BIPOCA Incubator and Gallery is a gallery that has art and shows those different things and performances for Black, Indigenous people of color. But this wellness piece rolled into what was happening in my life, and I didn't see anybody else doing it. Not in that way.
Right.
Okay? I'm not saying that there aren't organizations and people that are doing things, but not in that way where I can sit down and talk to a doctor and she's going to talk back to me. Where somebody's going to come and tell me their whole story about what's happening with them. Where I'm going to sit and here's a panel of women, and it wasn't just a panel of women. It was a panel of Latino women, Black women, Colombian women. Those women were BIPOC women who all were women from different places talking about their spirituality.
And you mentioned it a couple of times, and I'm going to pause and let everybody know this is Voice of the People, and we got Miss Clydia Early here with us, and she's giving us about her event, her green hair revolution and everything, but that BIPOC, and I was reading into that, but tell us what that is.
Okay, so BIPOCA, so like I said, the art of hair. I've always loved art. Just love it. Just buy it. When I go to places, I started when you buy stuff, when you go out and you just see it out there, or you go to the store and you buy it and you see it is minority art, is Black art, and then I just start buying art that was afros. And then so along the years, I've always seen artists of color, but being picked. Okay. When I say being picked, what I mean is your story is good, I pick you. That artist over there is bad, is good, maybe better than you. But
the story doesn't jive. We
that's
can't market
right.
it. We
So
can't present it.
when you get picked, you become the star. And then when you become the star, all the other ones that are good also, or maybe better, get left behind.
Yes.
Wow.
And so what I wanted to do was give them an opportunity to shine. And in that opportunity to shine, we can sell some art. You can see yourself doing that. And it's hands-on and also programming, but you seeing yourself making something or doing something and creating it, if it's food, if it's a performance, if it's a piece of art, and being able to sell that and make something from that and make a life is a big thing. For me, it is. And I also feel that it is for many artists. And we have a lot of different nationalities here in Fort Wayne. We have the largest Burmese population in the United States. Where's their art? At the Taste of the Arts? Really? I don't think so. So that's just me.
And you know what? And I love it. You said art without fear.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Sometimes I think that we as people maybe especially minorities, we have a thing about putting pen to paper or play anything to paper. You know, pen, paint, markers, because you're concerned about what people are going to say or how they're going to judge you. And I would think that that's kind of about mental wellness and mental health. And so we had a event during the event that went on the whole time called Art Without Fear, which was the materials were donated by a group called the Yellow Frame Project.
Okay.
And what they do is you donate frames to them. They take them, they paint them yellow, they put a background in them, and then they come to you and they bring paints and crayons and markers and colored pencils, and people are able to do the art. And so we called it Art Without Fear. And so what I want to do is every time we have an event, we have that going on. So people can sit down and do art.
And that's a super fun
I mean,
idea.
it just makes
too.
sense, right?
Yeah.
And plus, we're BIPOC. We have to do art.
Yeah. Now, what's the acronym of BIPOC?
Black and Indigenous People of Color Arts Incubator and Gallery. And our mission, look, I'll read it to you.
Read it to
To focus on uplifting and promoting Black, Indigenous, and people of color whose artistic, creative work has been historically excluded, unseen, and or exploited.
Oh, that's
So it's a task because many times we don't trust. It's hard to trust other people, and it's hard to trust people that you don't know. If you don't know what a gallery is, it's hard to trust them. And also you sometimes need all of your money.
Right.
So you don't want to give the gallery any of your money. So, I try to make it where I'm working with the artist. I'm not working against them. Right. I'm not trying to represent you and take you and be your all, and you can't go anyplace else, and you can't talk to anybody else. No, what I want to do is help you to get out there while you also help me at the gallery. And we do that with as minimal as we possibly can. Put you in as many spaces and as many places as we can, on podcast, downtown at the farmers market, any place where you can be seen. We have events where you can teach classes as an artist, a BIPOC artist, and also where we have pop-ups where you can have your own exhibition.
Well, I can tell you, because dealing with the arts, I deal with music, so I understand where you don't trust people, because sometimes your intellectual property, it becomes subject to that other person's, ideas. So, it's hard to trust when you are a creative person and your intellectual property. Some handshakes are as strong as contracts. And,
I understand.
if I agree to do something with you, and I'm not saying you, but I understand the lack of trust. We've trusted a lot of people in a lot of different areas, and we've gotten the short end of the stick or the smallest cut, because once our cut, it takes everything out of it. Then our cut comes in, it'll be the smallest piece of the pie. So I do understand that.
And I do too. My thing is that give it a chance, see if it can work. There is nothing set in stone. The contract is breakable. What I mean is that it says on there you can break this contract. And so what that means is that give it the opportunity to see, because I always want to also show BIPOC artists and creatives that I'm real and that I'm doing what I say I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm going to show you. I can show you better than I can tell you.
I hear you.
Okay?
I hear you.
So,
Dr. B?
Well, so I just want to kind of, if we can, go into the future. So COVID happened. And so some people are still bouncing back from COVID. So where do you see what's going on? What's coming up?
well, okay, first of all, the pieces that are scary for me are about art, because art is expendable money.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have some expendable money to buy some art, okay? Mm-hmm. And we don't have a lot of expendable money right now. But the thing that I want us to know, though, is that art value, that value of art goes up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't devalue.
Right.
I know we don't understand that because we don't understand it. It's like you see this art and you're like, oh yeah, that's going to go up. Mm-hmm. Yes,
right.
yes, it's going to go up. Right now, I have some pieces done prints by Margaret Burroughs, who started the African Museum up in Chicago, Illinois, and she just came here. And she brought them with her, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she brought them. She gave them out to people, and she gave them. She was here
She gave
before
them
she
out?
passed. Yes, before she passed away, some years ago.
Oh, wow.
Margaret Burroughs came here. She was over at the Weiser Park Teen Center, and you know what I'm saying. And she left us. She gave out prints to other people, but she left us like 7, 8 prints. We had them framed. I am not just saying this. They are the most beautiful pieces, you know, and now they're worth money
Yeah.
because she's gone.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it like that.
Right.
Because she gave them to us.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we had have bought those. So I've been a collector of art, but what you just need to understand is that art value, the value goes up. That's the first thing. And during COVID, and right now, that's it's very hard to get out there, but people are still buying art. And in the
Yes.
Midwest they're the most art buyers in the United States.
It's interesting.
Wow.
But with that, you have pop-ups, you say. When is your next pop-up? When is your next event that you might have art on the display?
Yes. So we have coming up, which we will be putting out there. We are also host of events and let other people do some different events. So April is National Poetry Month. So for this month, we will be having towards the end of the month, and we will be putting it out there soon. We are having a poetry workshop, and what that workshop is called Speak. And if you are interested in spoken word or being a poet or getting out there and, presenting yourself, he'll be a time where you can come and have an opportunity to learn and do that. We also have an artist meetup, and I have some dates, but I just don't have them here in front of me, and I'll send those coming up. And we have some students from PFW that are going to be doing poetry to the art that we have hanging. And in October of last year, we had an international artist come named Cool Core from Brussels, Belgium.
Oh, wow.
The brother was second generation graffiti artist out of New
okay.
York.
All right.
And I talked to him on the phone. He said, he was in Madrid. Some friends, my brother introduced me. I told him they were faking, but they introduced me to him. I talked to him on the phone. I told him what I was doing. He said, I'm coming. So you know what I'm saying? I was like, so what do you need? Do you need money? He was like, I just need a place to stay and, a car to drive. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Da, da, da. He said, don't trip. I only come to places where I feel it.
I feel you. That's good. But with that,
Wow.
and you say money and things like that, first tell us where people can find you, and then tell us how people can support you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Our new website, which I took down the old one, is being created, and it is BIPOCA. First of all, we are located at 3402 Fairfield Avenue, which used to be the old Casa de Angelo's
Okay.
building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We rent the front part of that building, okay?
All right.
And there are signs on the door, it says BIPOCA Gallery, right across from the Ball Diamond.
Yep.
So we are there. We are open right now on weekends from 1 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays, because during the weekday, I have to hit the ground so that I can sell those arts pieces
Gotcha.
to hotels, airports, places like that, And we are also we can be followed, like I said, on Instagram and on Facebook right now. We have a new website that will be coming out, okay? And it's bipocaart.com. And so we just keep moving forward.
All
So
right.
passionate.
You're so passionate. I've enjoyed you, Miss Early.
know.
I have truly enjoyed
gosh,
you. And I'm going to have to
you
come
guys.
check out your museum. I like art. So I'm gonna have to,
Art gallery,
Art
art
gallery.
gallery,
I'm gonna have
okay?
to come out- your
And-
art gallery, I
And the
stand-
only pieces in there, all pieces are by BIPOC artists.
Okay. And I'm going to have to check that out. And
I
we
would
thank
love
you
that.
again. And we've enjoyed you. Love your whole story and everything, and we'll have you back again. We'll find a reason to have you back and promote something when you have something coming up again. But send us the information, and we will post it on our Facebook page, and we'll let the community know. We will support you here at Neutral Voices. Now, we enjoyed you, and we can stay here all night, but we got to get up out of here. Again, we don't have e-fights here tonight, so Jill, I'm gonna ask you, what do we tell the people before we leave them?
Always protect your mind.
Thank you, and have a good night.